there, ref. That's he got the ball. Good evening, Tottenham fans. Welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Dave. Flying solo today. Jack has some life stuff that he needs to take care of, so we said we'd let him go and do that before the big game tomorrow. But we are here with your fan show. Was going to do it for you on Monday night, but, things are absolutely hectic lately, so I had to move it till tonight. So the option is there if you do want to come on and have your say on the January transfer window that we've had, and also ahead of the big game tomorrow against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final, potentially one game away from a final and just 2 games away from potentially the ultimate, which is glory. And I, for one, cannot wait. I'm absolutely pumped for this game tomorrow. It's going to be a big game. And by no means is it going to be easy. It's going to be a tough game. We are going to have to fight for absolutely every inch, every ball to try and get over the line and get ourselves into a final. But I mean, all this pain that we've suffered so far up to this point, it has to be for something, right? And that's just not in us fans' context, also with the players and the manager. Everyone's suffered pain. Everyone to do with Tottenham Hotspur. Let's all put a big concerted effort in tomorrow, a joint effort, and let's try and roll Liverpool over, get ourselves into a final. Let's see if we can start painting a different narrative around this football club moving forward, or even just keep the optimism going, because I think it's a big week for Tottenham Hotspur. We come into it off the back of qualifying for the last 16 in Europe, pulling ourselves away from the relegation battle in the Premier League. But also the cup competitions, to a large extent, have been masking a lot of what's gone on in the league. I think there would have been a lot more outrage if we didn't have the cup competitions to sort of give us that little bit of joy. Well, this week we could either stay in both or both could go. Let's wait and see what happens. But it's a huge week for this football club. I do apologise about being late. I was supposed to originally do this at 7:30, but I got things ran over on Last Word on Spurs. We were having a debate about Paratici and Johan Lang, so things ran a little bit late. Look, I'm not complaining. I'm absolutely delighted, that the boys on Last Word on Spurs feel that I can add value to what they're doing and keep inviting me on. So it's absolutely brilliant. But just to give you a bit of context around why I was late, any members tune in and you do want to come on, the link is up on the community in the, it's called the post section now, actually, not community section, the post section. The link is up there for you guys to come on and have your say. Let's welcome some people in, and then let's bring on some of the guests. I know a lot of people are probably watching the Newcastle-Arsenal game, given the context, to see who will make the final. But look, let's welcome people in, and let's see who we've got with us. We've got Adrian. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. People, check out Spurs Diehards. Ryan Trestain, who's in the background, who we'll be speaking to. By the way, guys, it's Chris's birthday today. Please wish him happy birthday in the chat. He's also on the back end. We'll be speaking to him. Headcase 1882. Evening, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Magpies. Look, I really hope Newcastle can sort of get the job done today, because I think if we go into a final with Newcastle, the narrative around it is that one club will end their trophy drought. And I just feel that they will come into it as nervous as Tottenham. And I think, with Postecoglou having the experience of being in and around finals and winning things, I just wonder, would he have the upper hand in terms of managing it better than Eddie Howe? Whereas with Arsenal, the way we've been bullied against them, in recent years, I'm not quite so sure I want them in a final and to have that embarrassment, to be quite frank. So I am rooting for Newcastle today. And he also says, hit the likes up, Spurs family. Really appreciate that, Ed. Thank you very much. Mick Hermelot, good evening, Jack and Dave. Good to see you, my man, K32. Hello, Dave and Jack and everyone. Huge night tomorrow night. Let's go, Spurs. Absolutely. Eugene as well. He's in the back end. He's first on, actually. We'll be speaking to him. Big up, Artist T. 1-0 Newcastle. Or has it been disallowed? Some people are saying it looks off. Let me know. But big up, Artist T. Good to see you, brother. We also got DB in the house. Big up, DB, my man. I really appreciate all the support, and that you give me. Like, when I go on to all these challenges and you're in the chat and you're bigging me up, it really helps me sort of settle my nerves and puts me in the comfort zone to a degree. So thank you very much. Big up, Spurs GCTV. Evening, lads. We got this. Come on, you Spurs. Good to see you as well, Spurs GCTV. Hopefully you're keeping well. And pumped for tomorrow's game. Jakey boy, big up, Jake. Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well, and thank you for reaching out. The really kind words on Twitter and that. I really appreciate it. And, I put that stream up today about Mason Meslier. So, let me know what you think on it. But good to see you, Jake, and hopefully you're keeping well. We've got J-Mac in the house. Big up, Davey. Like, come on, you Spurs. Good to see you, J-Mac. Hopefully you're keeping well. We also have Mono Owl in the house. Big up, Mono Owl. Evening, everyone. Never been more nervous for a game of football. I think everyone's... look, you'd be lying if you weren't a tad bit nervous tomorrow, right? You'd be lying. But I think the more the game creeps around, every passing hour, I think you start seeing a lot more excitement, maybe delusion even. Let's wait and see what happens. Future's bright, future's lily white. Come on, you Spurs. Newcastle not win on 1-0 up goal, offside. Fair enough. Thank you very much, my man. We've got regards, Daniel. Come on, you Spurs. Hope you got a snack of chicken dippers before switching streams. I haven't. Look, I'll be brutally honest. Once I finish this, I've got to go and do pre-match build-up questions and, get the predicted lineup done, edited and all that sort of good jazz and get it up for the morning. So I'm in for a long, long evening yet. Don't worry about that regards, Daniel. So I probably won't sit down and have dinner till in around midnight, I reckon, if I'm lucky. But let's wait and see. Who else have we got here? We've got Rep Tracker. Good to see you, my man. Thank you very much, Connor, for coming on today. I really do appreciate the time that you gave us. And, a lot of people really enjoyed the breakdown. Got messages about saying it's absolutely brilliant and that. So thank you very much, Connor, for your time. And people, please get over and check out this guy's Twitter page, especially if you're an Irish football fan or you like to keep an eye on Irish players and how they're getting on all around the globe. Well, this guy has it absolutely covered and he knows his stuff. So please get over and check him out. We also have got Rajat V. Hey, Dave, bro, what's up? How's everything going today? Yeah, not too bad. Look, I can't complain. Cannot complain. A bit of a long day. So much happening around Tottenham, getting everything prepared for tomorrow. No Jack as well. It's hard. It's just like when I'm not here, Jack has to do everything on his own. It's difficult, but we'll get there. And also, a lot of people not tuning in tonight because they're watching the Arsenal-Newcastle game, which it would be nice to sit there and watch. But look, I don't like watching them red jerseys on the screen either. But good to see you, Rajat. Thank you very much. We've also got Murad Arawak. Big up, Dave, on the chat. Good to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well. Hopefully I haven't butchered that name. If I have, please let me know how to pronounce it. DJ Samuel, good to see you as well. Hopefully you're keeping well. And we're getting a few happy birthdays in here for Chris, which is absolutely great to see. And now Newcastle have gone 1-0 up, apparently, which is absolutely great. And then DB says, Dave, got to go, but truly hope your hard work gets the reward it deserves. See you tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs. DB, you go and enjoy yourself, my man. Have a great day, and we'll speak tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs, buddy. Have a good one. And Newcastle have scored, which is absolutely great to see. God's all football. I think so nervous about 2 more games. I really hope we play like we did against Brentford. Come on, you Spurs. I mean, a good performance like that, good, solid defensive performance like that should see us over the line. We can't forget, we also kept a clean sheet against them in the first leg. Now, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult at Anfield. It's almost like them goals suck the ball in, but look, it's not beyond the realms of impossibility. Let's wait and see what happens, Gonzo football. Paddy Higgins says, big up, lad. That's Arsenal 3-0 down. Absolutely brilliant from Newcastle. We're absolutely buzzing about that. Del 20, big up, Dave. Great stream, dude. Really appreciate the thoughts there. The comment, Deli 20, my man. Really appreciate the kind words. Guys, we're not going to waste any more time this evening. We are going to get straight into it, start getting the guests on. The link will be left up there for around an hour, and then I will be taking it out, guys. So make sure if you do want to come on, make sure you make it known. But look, let's get on to it. Let's bring on the first guest in the evening. Eugene, how are you keeping, my man? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Dave. I'm good. Hope everybody's fine. Hopefully you're feeling well. I know you're working hard. Keep at it, my man. You're doing great.
Nah, look, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for anything. I love this football club. So, it's a dream to be able to do this, to quite frank. So I'm very, very lucky. I count my blessings every day. But Eugene, enough about me, my man. Don't listen to me moaning. It's all about you. I mean, look, let's initially get your thoughts on the January transfer window. Look, I presume, you've been on other channels giving your opinion. You've probably heard a lot of opinions off it as well. You're a very good frequent of all the channels, to be fair to you, actually, and you do deserve a lot of praise for that. You give a lot of support to all the channels. What's your thoughts on the transfer window? How do you feel about it? Because, some people are saying it's been a good window. We've got what we needed to get done. You got others like me where it's like, yeah, but did we go with enough aggression in the window? Have we brought in the right amount of quality? I mean, where do you stand?
Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I am confused a little bit. Even not looking at the players that we brought in, but in general, I'm confused with what the plan was. My assumption was even, we criticize Lange and, his approach, but the recruitment team had 4 months to devise a plan of attack. Given that we're so thin, all the injuries, given that we're in the relegation battle potentially, I honestly expected on January 1st for somebody to come in. I mean, expected. I didn't expect because I know the way we work. I was hoping, right? And once again, we left all our business until the last couple of days of the window. And to me, we just wasted the whole month. We could have picked up more points. So was it desperation rather than planning? I think so. Especially when we see the bid for what's his name? For Guehi on the last day. I mean, that's a PR move. There is no way Palace would have sold him on the very last day without bringing in a replacement. So I just feel like, yes, I was not happy with Tell when I thought we'd want an obligation because I think 60 million is too much for him. Having an option is a good deal. So as a player, who knows? I don't know much about him. He's talented, but he's young, so we'll see. Dan is decent as well. But my main issue is why we didn't do business early as we were supposed to, and whether there was a plan or if we're just being reactive again. So that's my biggest issue.
No, look, and I think many fans sort of, even people that are saying, you know what, I don't mind the players we brought in. I think we've had a decent window in that regard, but, that fact that it took so long. What do you make of Johan Lang's explanation of why it took so long, though? Because he says, as a club, we were ready to do business from the 1st of January, but it's not as easy as that. The January in particular, the dynamics change a little bit. We're not the only team who has injuries. Also, dynamics of the new European competition format, both meaning that the clubs competing in Europe this season had to play group matches in January, which is never the case. Normally, the clubs will know their fate in the European competition by December, but the fact is now there are still 2 group games in the keep going on about that. But basically, what he ends up saying is that, we couldn't get the business done early in the window because, a lot of players were holding out till late in the window. Do you buy that sort of narrative?
Maybe, but look, City, they need somebody to go to business. I think money talks. So I read somewhere, and again, this might be wrong, but Dance was available early in the window, but they were asking for 30 million, and we got him for 25. So for 5 million, we basically wasted the whole month. Again, I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like players are available if you're willing to put down the money. And we always look for a good deal. Again, City never has issues. Chelsea never has issues, right? It's just, but we do, just given that we always look for a good deal. So he might be right in a sense, but given how bad the situation is, he's getting the big bucks to make things happen. So I'm not very sympathetic.
No, I'm not sympathetic either. I think it's a good PR spin by Johan Lang, is what I would say. Yeah. Look, I agree that the January window is a very hard window to negotiate in, but he didn't speak about the rejection or the players we did go for and the fact that they rejected us, and that's why we were, in the last days of the window, sort of scrapping around to see what we can find. I think it's a very good PR spin by Johan Lang. But look, in terms of the players we brought in, Kinski, Danzo, Tell, what do you make of them? Did any of them excite you?
They're okay. I mean, Kinski has potential. My issue is what, we were willing to spend 60 million on Tell or 70 million on Guehi. If you take that money and you add the fee for Kinski, why aren't we looking at Cunha or Embuemo or Wissa? I have no idea, right? I'm just a fan. But if we would go to Wolves and put down 80 million on Cunha, it'd be tough for them to say no.
Yeah.
So again, we're shopping on a different level, right? We're shopping at the discount bin. We're still not looking at those top players. And yeah, you might say it's January, Wolves are fighting for relegation as well, but ultimately money talks. So there were some very good players that I feel like if we put down 80 million, we could have gotten. But once again, we go for youth. Kinski is young, Tell is young. So it looks like we do, in fact, have a youth project on our hands. But if that's the case, tell us that. Don't say that we're challenging or that we want to challenge, right? We're going full youth project with Kinski, Tell, Gray, Bergval, Mikey Moore. And if that's the case,
I'm worried that
we
that
know,
narrative only comes around,
where
though,
we are.
Eugene. I'm worried that that narrative of we're building a youth project only comes around because Johan Lang can't get deals done for senior players. That's just my fear. And then now that's the narrative that's been painted around. I genuinely don't think we are going after a youth. We tried to sign Colin Mawani. He was a bit more experienced and a bit more older than Tell. We just couldn't get the deal done. There was other players in the summer we were looking at before some of the youngsters came in that we just couldn't get the deals done. So I think it's a narrative that's been painted around because we can't get these sort of players in. Look, you got Johan Lang. He's had 3 windows now, and then you've got Paratici's ban up in July. What would you like to see happen? Would you like to see Paratici come back in, or would you rather Johan Lang?
I mean, whatever you might think of Paratici's signings and his approach, at least with him, I saw a plan. I understood where he was coming from, or at least what he was trying to accomplish. Now, with Langa, I have no idea. And Paratici has the track record of bringing, he brought in Kulusevski, Bentancur in January, or so. For me, he has the track record, and I know he has connections. He works hard. I know he can get things done, given his experience and, like I said, his connections. And, we've seen what he's done before. With Langa, I have no idea. When he first came in, I was optimistic, given, the talent that Villa has. But now looking at what he's done in the last 2 transfer windows, it's just, I'm not impressed. So I'm concerned that there was a rumor going around that, there was a run-in between Paratici and Langa, and Levy took Langa's side, and Paratici is going to leave. If that's the case, I'll be really disappointed, because Paratici, I feel like he's the guy for us going forward. So if he leaves, it's going to be, I'll be upset.
Yeah, so will I, and I'll be quite worried actually to a certain degree as well. Especially if Johan Lang sort of keeps his job, because I do think you got to look at why Aston Villa's got rid of him. And look at the progression, that they're making now that they brought in Munchie. Look at the different level of caliber of signings that they're making since they brought in Munchie to work with. They're bringing in the likes of Asensio, players like that. You look at Tottenham Hotspur, we're nowhere near in that market. We're shopping in bargain basement while they're shopping in Harrods, and I think it goes to show the different levels of operators, the contacts in the game and stuff like that. Glenn, big up, my man. Good to see you. We'll be live from 5 p.m. tomorrow for the pre-match build-up, but I will have a predicted lineup dropping in the morning, if you want to fancy that. So big up, Glenn. Really appreciate that, buddy. Look, let's move into the Liverpool game tomorrow, the big game, the big Carabao Cup semi-final. I mean, what's your thoughts heading into that game? Are you excited?
I'm excited, but you know what? It's weird. I'm not nervous at all, because usually, even for a big league game, I'd be nervous. For some reason, I'm not. Maybe because I have low expectations. Usually every time I think we're going to win, we lose. And every time I think we're going to lose, we win somehow. But Anfield, we never win at Anfield, especially given our lineup now. Van der Ven is out. So my expectations are super low. So I'm not nervous. If that makes sense. So
Fair.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But again, my expectations are not super high. Just given any other team or any other place, I'd be more optimistic. Even Emirates, I'd be more optimistic.
Yeah.
Or but Anfield is a different animal. For some reason, we have a mental block. Even with good squads, when we go to Anfield, we don't win. So
yeah,
I hope I'm wrong. I want to be surprised, but thinking with my head, I don't give us a lot of, I don't give us a chance. If we can make a draw, hopefully, but it's going to be tough.
look, we go in there as underdogs for sure. I think you're absolutely spot on in that regard. And I think it's only right. I think many Spurs fans will agree with you. The magnitude of this game, how tough it really is going to be to go up there and try and win the game. That's why I think for me, nick a draw. I mean, that would be absolutely ideal. It's all we need, and we're through to the final. But to actually go and win the game, I think, is a monumental task. So it's good that we actually do come into this with that sort of 1-0 advantage. Let's see how long we can hang on to it for. If you're Postecoglou, do you drop Danzo and Tell straight into the lineup?
I don't think. Well, I don't think so. I mean, last time I'd play Spence. He did a great job on Salah last time, so definitely I'd play him. And Archie Gray has been doing well at center back. So honestly, maybe I'd bring in Tell at halftime or 60 minutes, depending on how we do. Dan, so I'm not sure if he's had enough time because it's all about communication in the back, right? Especially, I'm assuming Angie's gonna play mid-block, hopefully. We're not gonna park the bus, but mid-block, I'm hoping. And playing against Liverpool, you need good communication in the back line. And I'm not sure if Dan so has that chemistry yet with, Ben Davies or whoever else. So he might play, but I don't see it. They might come in the second half, depending on how the game goes, but we'll see.
And also, he hasn't played in like 3 to 4 weeks now as well. It's been quite a while since he's played. And I think just throwing him in like that. Look, I know we've done it to Van de Ven, when we first signed him. I know we've done it to Kinski as well. But I think this one's a little bit different with it being, a huge cup semi-final. I think, Archie Gray hasn't really put a foot wrong there. I think Ben Davies, look, to my surprises, that had been absolutely brilliant. He's brilliant there against Brentford again. So for me, I think I would prefer to go with them. And I think Postecoglou, sort of said in his pre-match press conference when asked about, he says, look, there's another game 3 days later. So there's a lot of games, which makes me think, he'd probably hold him back for that Aston Villa game.
Yeah. But what, Dave, to be fair, I would rather see Tell than Richie because I think personally Richarlison is absolutely useless. I mean, he does
like the game against Liverpool, though.
He does. That's the only saving grace. But I mean, he's gonna run around, wind them up, do what he does, which is good. But if we need some quality, he's not the guy to give us any quality. So you know what? Maybe I throw Tell in, but I just think Rich is gonna start and Tell might come in on the 60th minute if we need a goal.
Do you know what? I wonder what way he's going to work that actually. Does he go with someone like Tell and look to bring Richie on later on to have that aggression, that press sort of push them back? Or do you start with Richie and bring on Tell when there's tired legs, a bit like what Bayern Munich used to do and, where he can run at them, there's more space there. It'd be very interesting, that sort of selection headache. And last question I have for you also on team selection is, what midfield are you going with tomorrow? Because, you could drop Kulu back in there. You've got Bergvall, who was the hero in the last game. Basuma, Sarr, who's come off the bench and scored the other day. Bentancur. What's your midfield for tomorrow?
As you know, I'm not a Basuma fan, so I wouldn't play him. But I think Ange's going to go with Bentancur, Basuma, and Bergvall. And maybe he'll bring in Sarr in the second half, like he's been doing personally. Maybe I'd start Sarr for his engine because we're going to need engine in the midfield against those boys. So I would probably, and then on the right-hand side, I mean, Kulu has no choice but to play on the right, because I don't think we have anybody in there. Otherwise, I'd want to see him at a 10. So if Kulu's on the right, we don't really have many options. I think it's just going to be Bissouma, Bentancur, Bergvall, or Bentancur, Sarr, and Bergvall.
I'd prefer to go with that. I just don't, when you look at Bissouma, I don't think you can trust him in the big games. You look back at the Chelsea, North London Derby, Liverpool in the 6-3, he tends to let you down. I think there was a game Nottingham Forest last year where we were winning and he got sent off, and that he tends to let you down in the big games. So I agree with you. Despite him having a good game against Brentford, do I trust him with the history in these big games? I wouldn't personally. I'd much rather have Sarr there. I think with Sarr, not only does he give you defensive work rate, but also he has a goal in him and can get forward with the attack. So for me, I think he's got to play, especially away from home. Anything else you want to touch on before we let you go, Eugene?
No, I mean, like I said, I'm keeping my expectations low. I'm hoping to be surprised. Trent is going to be missing for them, which is huge. He killed us the very first time we played, especially if we're going to try and do the press thing. He would kill us. So that's good. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, winning a point, we'll pull it out. But it's going to be tough. Again, Anfield is no joke. We went there with strong teams and didn't win. So, and we had some hard breaks. I remember Firmino with the header, and we just had some bad games there. So it's going to be tough, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Tough, but not impossible, lad. And if we know anything at Tottenham Hotspur, we do things the tough way. So hopefully, we're used to crawling through shite and we come out smelling our roses the other end, Eugene. I absolutely love that hat, by the way. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I think some shop online, Tottenham, shop.
It's nice.
I have to get some more. The shipping is crazy.
I'm going to have a look for one in that color, man. It's a very nice hat. Very nice hat. No worries. Well, look, Eugene, you go off and enjoy the rest of your day, and I really appreciate your support and your time here and the conversation. And let's go. Come on, you Spurs.
Let's go. Come on, you Spurs.
See you soon, my man. Have a good one.
Bye.
The one and only Eugene. I absolutely really like Eugene. He's brilliant. I really like what he has to say. He's very level-headed as well. I think he's got a lot of good things to say there. And you know what? Me and Eugene, we tend to sort of think along the same lines as well, which is probably why I like him even more. Everyone likes someone that agrees with them, don't they? But look, let's keep this moving. I believe the next guest we've got on is the one and only Rhino. Let's bring him on and let's hear what he has to say. Good evening, Ryan. How are you?
You all right, mate? Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, look, I can't complain, Ryan. I can't complain. Look, let's get into it. What's your I haven't spoke to you since the transfer window closed. What's your thoughts on the transfer window? Do you think we've had a good one? Do you think it's been a bad one?
It's the same as every single transfer window. Just after Christmas, they always seem to disappoint, don't they?
Look, I have my opinions on the transfer window, and I think you've heard my transfer window opinions. But to be fair to the club, they have signed more in January than I think what they've signed in a long, long time. I believe all the way back to 2008 or something, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, something like that.
So they have signed, but look, they have signed in 90% of the positions they wanted to sign this January. What do you feel on the signings that we've made in terms of Kinski, Danzo, and Tell?
Kinski or whatever his flaming name is, I can't say it to save my life. Yeah, he's young. It's just at the moment it's kind of just bang average if you want me to put it down to, because he's still young. We don't really know what he's going to do. I'm not even putting no expectations on the kid. Because to be honest, right, no offense, but it seems like I can't say that, I don't think. So I'll keep it. I was going to say it's like Jimmy Savile FC, to be honest.
Not sure it's the right connotation there, right? To be
no, but that's why I was debating it. You said go ahead and say it anyway. So
yeah, no. But look, so basically, you've been very unhappy with the window. Why?
Yeah. Just because it's kids after kids after kids after kids. There's never any experience coming in the door. And looking at I don't look by the end of it, yeah, I hated Højbjerg, right? But I would take him back now. I really would. I really would. It's a joke. I mean, what else? What else are we going to be able to do? We can't just sit there and play kids week in, week out, unless it's going to be a youth project. And all right, if it's going to be a youth project, then come out and tell us it's a youth project, and then we have to accept it, whether I like it, whether you like it, whether anyone else likes it.
So you just feel you're not getting clear clarification from the club in terms of what our ambition is going into the transfer windows and coming out of them, right? That's your issue.
Look, if I was told by Daniel Levy it's going to be a youth project, fine. Might not be happy about it, but like I said, I might not like it. You might not like it. Jacko might not like it. everyone else in the fan base might not like it, but at least we have to then at least say we've got a direction, and then it's literally and then it's just like if we're not happy about it, we've got to lump it, because that's the way that at least then we've got a direction of some sort.
No, look, I think it's a fair point. I think clarification from the club sometimes, is where they let themselves down a little bit, especially within the fan base. I think if they were to communicate a little bit more with the fan base, I think, it might even buy them a little bit more leeway in terms of what they're trying to do and stuff. They're never really too forthcoming with the plans, and I do think it annoys, a bit of the fan base and stuff like that. What do you make of the rejection that we suffered this window? Because it's never usually as public. Even though you get turned down, it's never usually as much or as public as it's been this January.
Look, we used to be a stepping stone club. We're not even that now, Davo. We're not even that.
So do you think Tottenham's losing their pull as an attractive destination?
Davo, we've lost everything at the moment. And it comes back to the same two people all the time. And I'm tired of saying the same thing about get this clown out, get flaming Levy out. I'm done with it. I'm actually getting to the point where I'm done with the club altogether. I'm just gonna. It's getting to the point where I can't be asked. If we win, we win. We lose, we lose. It's getting to that point. I'd rather sit here, right, and be celibate for the next 20 years with not watching no football. And that sounds horrible to say, but that's where it's going at the moment.
No, look, I've heard many Spurs fans, express their, what would I say? And it's been the same on social media as well, where they're maybe saying, they don't really recognize Tottenham, or they're sort of falling out of love with it a little bit, and stuff like that. So I can understand where you're coming from, with that regards, Rhino. Look, let's move on into the Liverpool game tomorrow. I know you said you're not going to be watching, and look, we were speaking before you came on, and you were telling me your reasons why and stuff. But even though you're not going to watch the game, do you think Tottenham can get the job done? Do you think we can get a result against Liverpool and make the Carabao Cup final?
It's got to the point that I don't even care if we even make the final or not now. It's that bad, Davo. This is how bad this club is. It's got to the point that this club has grinded me down so much, Davo. Like, if we go through, we go through. If we don't, we don't. And let's go on both sides, right? Say we don't go through, at least Arsenal ain't going through. What is actually the latest score? Can someone put it in the chat? Is it still 1-0?
Still 1-0. I think it's still 1-0 Newcastle. I'm not sure. Someone will put it in there, right now. Anyway, but you know what, Ryan? Look, I get how you feel about this football club, right? I fully get it. But surely you still there's a part of you inside that wants us to get the job done tomorrow. Get to the final and try and pick it up. I know you say you don't care, but do you really?
Yeah, I really don't, because it's the way that these tactics are, right, with Ange, and it's not just Ange, it's Daniel Levy. Get this clown out of our club. Get Ange out of our club, because these kamikaze football, right, it's just it's ridiculous, right? What? Because but then you're gonna then go and say, well, he did it at Brentford. Well, did he, or was it forced upon us?
Wow.
Again, was it forced upon us, or was it was it yeah, like, which way was it? Was it the way we played against Brentford? Was it because Ange wanted to play that, or was it because we had no other option but to play like that?
Well, no, I think it was a tale of two halves. I think, the first half, I think we controlled it very well. In the second half, we sat back and sat in. I think it was a purpose tactic. And this is where I get, a bit disillusioned with the Postecoglou criticism, right now, because when we lose, it's all about his tactics, and then when we win, he's either changed his tactics, which people accuse him not of doing, or it's forced upon us. Surely he can give praise where praise is due.
I think I can see where it goes from, though, Davo, at this point, right? I see it to the point where, because he's not done it, right, on so many occasions, and he's only ever done it when it's forced upon us. Like, take the Man City game where we had no choice but to go in and sit deep, right? That's the reason why people turn around and say, is it forced upon us?
Yeah, no. Look, I can understand to a certain degree. But there are games this year where, we have gone at teams in the first half and sat back in the second half. I don't think that's being forced on us. I do think it's something that we're trying to work on, Ryan. People say he's not flexible, but, I do think, you look at Porro, for instance, against Brentford. He played of more as your old traditional fullback rather than your inverted fullback or getting quite so high. And that's clearly instructions, right? And I think, if he is willing to change and adapt, I do think there should be a little bit of praise that goes his way.
But then, like something, and I hope Domo don't mind me saying this, because I heard him say it the other day, right? Some people only know Ange from when he's come in now. Someone like me, right? Whereas others have known Ange from the days of Celtic, and they know what he can do. But do you know what I mean? And that's why I can't talk for everyone. I can only talk for myself.
Yeah.
Right. But from my opinion, where I see it is, right, anyone that doesn't know Ange from Celtic are the ones that are Ange out, because no one knows what he's on about. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can you see that from my point of view kind of thing?
I fully get it. No, I fully get it, right now. I do understand that, my man. So basically, you don't think we're going to get over the line tomorrow because you don't have faith in Postecoglou to have the nous to do it, right?
No.
Okay.
No. And do you know what? And do you know what? If by some miracle, and this is where I'm going to turn it on its head, because now people are going to probably think, well, is he Ange in? Is he Ange out? If by some miracle we get to the final, right? It'll be a work of genius.
And then will you praise him? Will you be Ange in? Will you be Ange in then? Because you got to look at the run. Man City, Man United, Liverpool twice. Surely you got to give him an opportunity there and take a step back and give him a chance, right?
No, because it isn't on cup runs, Dave. I know we're meant to be a cup team, right? And by rights, that's what we're known for, as being a cup team, and we're feared when it comes to cups usually. But we've been toothless on the way there, right? If you think about it realistically, right? The only ones that I could say we've had any joy, because I'm not entertained by this football anymore. I'm not. I am fully not entertained. It's a show of boredomness, or that, even if that's even a word. But look, getting back onto the point, we've played Man City and we've played Arsenal. Man United is because they both play in red. I think that's probably why I'm getting so confused. Look, right, we've played City and we've played United. We've played an under par United team, right? We played a team by Man City that weren't even in form at the time, right? Let's put it like that, because they weren't in form, were they?
Neither were we. Neither were we.
No, neither were we. But they were well part. They didn't have players like Rodri or whoever else out there, yeah, right? So they were underperforming. Man United were underperforming. The first big test that we've really had, right, is Liverpool. Okay, yeah, we've got a 1-0 lead going into the second leg, but I can't see us keeping that 1-0 lead. The only thing I can probably give any Spurs fan a bit of hope is that this goes to penalties, and hope and pray that we get the win there.
No, look, fair enough. Fair enough. Look, I actually fear penalties tomorrow. I think if it goes to penalties, I'm not quite so sure we're going to get over the line. I think Liverpool have a lot more experience in that regard. So I do worry. I do think we have to try and get it done within the 90 minutes. But Rhino, thank you very much for your time this evening, my man. I do hope we get the win tomorrow, because I know if we do and make the final, I know you're going to say it's not, but I know it'll cheer you up. So, I appreciate that. But look, we'll keep this moving. Thank you very much for your time, lad.
All right, mate. Yeah, you too.
You have a good one, right now. If we win, I'm going to text you, and I know you're going to be smiling.
I doubt it, mate. I very much doubt it. But quickly, just before you go, how's Jacko and is he happy clapping?
Oh, well, look, I think... Do you know what? Yeah, Jack is happy clapping into this game tomorrow, and I think rightly so. I think, it's a big cup semi-final. It's what we're in football for. These are the occasions that we've been moaning about in years gone by that we want to be involved in. And in order to win trophies, which is what the fan base want, you have to play these sort of games. So, the fact that we're here, I think we should enjoy it. And so, yeah, I think Jack is happy clapping into tomorrow, Rhino.
Okay, well, I hope he'll be happy clapping after Sunday because I can't see us beating Villa at Villa Park either. So there you go.
Well, look, obviously when we lose, of course he's not going to happy clap. He feels it as everybody else,
Oh, I was just giving you my prediction for the weekend.
No, I know. I know. Look, let's wait and see what happens. Nonetheless, it's a big week for this football club, Rhino. Rhino, you go and enjoy the second half of that game, lad.
Oh, I'm not even watching it.
No. Well, look, whatever you're going to do for the evening, go and have fun, my man, all right?
Yep, I will do, mate. You too. You look after yourself.
Have a good one, Rhino. Same to you, my man. Have a good one. Have a good one. Well, Rhino, not too optimistic tomorrow. Look, I can understand why, it is a big ask. I think he's absolutely right in that regard. It's a huge ask going to Anfield, the best team in the country at Anfield. I've been around long enough in the Cups, to see the crowd up for it and stuff. And they do have magical nights there. So I can understand, where Rhino's coming from. But however, I know if we do get over the line tomorrow, he will be the first one to happy clap. I know it. But look, let's keep it moving. The next guest we've got on is the one and only, the wonderful Chris. And guys, it is his birthday. Please be kind to him and please wish him happy birthday. Chris, good evening. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much, David. Thank you for all the birthday messages as well, people in the chat. Thank you. Appreciate that. Just as usual, smash a like and get your super chats in as always. And good evening, David.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening. It's good to see you, my man. Very good to see you. Look, let's start off quickly with the transfer window. Let's get your quick thoughts on that, and then we'll head into the Liverpool game.
See, David, I've been listening to the last two. This is Eugene, what Eugene was saying. I was listening to Ryan. Now, look, I'm not particularly impressed by the transfer market, but we got done what we needed to get done ultimately. We needed a winger, we got Tell. We needed a goalkeeper, we got Kinski. We needed a centre back, we got Dan. So, okay, there was this hype about Guy, etc., etc., etc. We all full well knew that £70 million bid was not going to be accepted on the last day of the transfer window because it gave them no time to replace him. So that was all hype and smoke and mirrors, yeah? But for me, I'm satisfied-ish. Not particularly impressed, but it was important that what we did get done.
I don't know what's going on there with my mic box. Sorry about that. I just fiddle with the wire there. But you know what, Chris? I think, look, that's the thing with this transfer window. I think it sort of leaves it open to interpretation. I think, depending on how you feel about the window, I think it probably depends on what you think we needed to do heading into the window on that. And
the thing is, right, this is how I see it. This window was impacted what happened in the summer, where we should have done more than what we did. Last summer's window has impacted this window drastically. No one could foresee the injuries that we've had. Yeah, no one could see Van de Ven was going to be out 14 games. No one could see Romero going to be out 10 games. No one could see Johnson being out 7 games. Nobody could see Vernon being out God knows how many games. The list goes on. Now, but the thing is, right, we needed a goalkeeper. We got Kinski. Yeah, okay, yeah, he's young. And this is what I put in the chat, in our group chat. Because there's rumours that Vicario could be fit for tomorrow, right? And I've asked the question, right? Do we stick with Kinski or does Vicario take his number 1 shirt back?
What would you do? Answer your own question. You're better at this than me. You want my job on the fan show?
David, I gave 3 answers. Yeah, why I asked. Yeah, was 1, do we go with Vicario? 2, do we go with Kinski? Or 3, are you undecided? For me, I'm undecided because both. See, Vicario is a liability in the air. We all know this, but Kinski isn't. Kinski is a liability at the back when he's playing out because he's a bit slow the mark to get the ball out, but he's good with his feet. But whereas Vicario is a good shot stopper. So that's why I'm undecided. I'm actually on the fence. I'm undecided with that.
Do you know what, Chris? I can't answer that question. I actually think, if Vicario feels good to go, I think they give him the nod. I think because he's in the leadership group,
I think
they
so.
give him the nod.
I think so. But I think he does get the nod. But is it risky because of the amount of time he's been out injured?
Look, it's always going to be a huge risk, right? I think the only thing you can hope is that the club don't bring them back too quickly. But on evidence this year, you can't be too confident on that, right? You can't really, trust their judgment on that. But look, let's wait and see what happens. But I think it's a big decision. I think. Do you know what? I just think when I go back to that North London derby, that big mistake against Trossard, and Kinski did look a bit nervous. I just wonder, did the crowd get on top of more of the environment? And I just think, I know he came in at home and he had a really good game, kept a clean sheet and that.
I think the pressure.
But it's much different away from home, right? With the crowd and stuff, it's much different away from home.
See, I think the pressure of the North London derby, that was his first big game in the English Premier League, right? So it was his first big game. Cup games are different.
Yeah.
Premier League games are a totally different animal. But see, and the other thing I wanted to point out from what I was hearing with the other two guests that you've had on, Ryan and Eugene, they're talking about Ange's tactics. Now, for me, right, the fans do get on Ange's back because he said he had no plan B. But when he uses plan B, the fans still get on his back. So there's a no-win situation for Ange. Me, David, I said it last week, I'm still Ange out, and I will be Ange out unless the results that drastically change and we win the trophy. I don't know why. I have a feeling we beat Liverpool tomorrow. And because I'm praying that we do, because I still want my revenge on those stinking Geordies. I will be their first one to laugh in their faces.
Well, I mean, if Newcastle go through, I think the incentive is there for us tomorrow. I think we'll fancy it, in terms of the opponents in the final. Look, Newcastle, of course, they've beaten us and we've beaten them over the last couple of years, depending on whether the game's home or away. But I agree with you, and especially since you live up there, you know what I mean, in and around the Geordies.
I want revenge. I need that revenge. I want to walk into work on the morning after the final with the biggest smile on my face. We got a trophy. What have you got?
Yeah. No, look, it'd be absolutely. And do you know what? I think if it was Newcastle, I think we'd actually finally get over the line in a cup final. Yeah. But Chris, I want to ask you about Mickey van de Ven, because me and you have had a bit of a debate around it. I'm of the opinion that I think potentially Mickey van de Ven has done something and we're not being told the full story. Postecoglou came out today and said he's not available for the Liverpool game, which, I did say he wasn't going to be available, but
fair enough.
He says he hasn't redone his hamstring. But where I'm still a bit skeptical, Chris, is we never got a time frame.
Yeah, but David, you've got to say at the same time, the guy hasn't played for, since mid-November, is it? When he first done his injury? Was it mid-November, early November? So he hasn't had a full... Then he was risked in January against Chelsea, which was the biggest mistake possible. And that's on Ange. So that one was on Ange big time. Right? So I think this time, with the medical advice that was given, they need to be more careful with him. I think personally, David, there's something we should be looking at more than Mickey van de Ven. It would be Cristiano Romero, why he's not being in the team. I've been hearing other rumours about after his little spat at the owners, it looks like he could be out the door quick time. But David, I don't know with this team anymore. Look, whatever now for me, it's gone to the point where I want us to win. If we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm like. Now, because I've got so used to seeing us lose every single game by one goal, and then when we finally get a win on Sunday, I'm like, yes, finally, I can actually smile for a change.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I thought we played quite well against Brentford. We managed the game properly, how we're supposed to manage these games that we've lost by one goal.
Yeah.
See, the first half we managed the game perfectly. The second half we managed it even more. We kept the clean sheet. And we scored the late second goal, but that was needed. So, there's a lot of debates of what we could have done differently in the transfer windows and this and that, but we are where we are now. Let's just go tomorrow and get that win. Simple as that, and get to a final. Let's see if Andrew's prediction is true. I always win a trophy in my second season.
Do you know what, on that, Chris? I do think it's been taken out of context because the reality is, you look into his history in terms of management, he does win a trophy in his second season.
Exactly.
What I think he failed to take into account when making that statement is, because we're so starved of trophies, we're going to take that as this guy's promising us a trophy in the second season. Do you know what I mean? And the fact I think he hasn't taken into account is Tottenham Hotspur. Whatever you've done at other clubs, forget about that. Completely forget about that.
Yeah, exactly. But see, I think a lot of us, everybody took that literally. I was like, my answer was to when I heard that was like, prove it. Let's prove it. Let's see if his theory is right that he wins every club the second season with a trophy. Let's see him put his money where his mouth is. Let's see if we win this.
Do you know what? I hope he does. I really hope he does, because I think then, a lot of people will give him a chance, and I think, it'll bite him, a lot more time. And look, ultimately, he'd be the most successful manager since Juan de Ramos if he does.
Yeah, David, do you know what? I hope he does prove me wrong. I hope he does get that trophy and he'll convince me not to be Ange out. But because of the results recently and his arrogance towards the supporters as well, which is another thing, right? Yeah. It's like I've lost a lot of respect for him. He's got to understand why the fans are actually upset and pissed off. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's all very well saying, yeah, but they abused me. But hold on, fans are going to get the right time if they're going to see you play at home week in, week out, and you're putting results like you did against Leicester. So you should expect a bit of criticism. Don't come back and snap at the fans, because the fans have got every right to say what they think. And see, that's where my respect for fans drops a bit.
No, look, I can understand it. Look, no fan likes being told how to feel and stuff like that. And look, I think, managers coming into Tottenham do have to understand the fans' anger. When you're coming into this job, fans are already angry because we're so starved for success. We're constantly in and around the big six clubs. We're in all the conversations, but we never have the same silverware that a lot of them clubs do. And I do think they have to take that on board and, accept that their job is going to be a little bit tougher, for sure. I agree with that, Chris.
David, the thing is, right, you look at these other top six clubs, yeah, they're eating steak dinners, blood, and we're eating McDonald's. Do you know what I'm saying? We get to the table, but we're getting a takeaway. They're getting a nice silver platter meal.
Yeah.
So, and this is where I think a lot of the management and owners got to understand why there's so much frustration against them. Look, I've watched a bit of Johan Langer's interview, and I got bored and switched it off after about 10 minutes because I'm like, I've had enough of this. It's crap.
Yeah.
He did not do what Paratici did in the January window. We needed two midfielders. He went out and got them. No questions asked. There's no one that's, do you know what? I'm working in the background. No one's seeing me. We don't want you to work in the background. We want to see what you're doing. Prove to us what you're doing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no need to hide it. Fans want to know, want answers, and obviously they didn't keep asking those questions. There's no point avoiding it. Yeah. And this is what Langer's done.
Yeah.
Levy and Langer have avoided all the questions that were being asked over the transfer window. And now, it's hard to do a deal in January. Yeah. Okay, David. The thing is, right, how I look at it is, other teams know we're struggling with our centre-backs at the moment because of our injury list, yeah? So, yeah, the prices are going to increase. But it's expected.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And I think, look, this is just my personal opinion on January. I think that, they didn't want to shake hands with the fact that if they were going to go after with a bit of aggression, it is going to cost them slightly more than what it would maybe in the summer terms. And I think, there definitely, wasn't a willingness to shake hands with that. I do agree with that, Chris. I definitely agree with that. Look, everyone knows my thoughts on Johan Lang. I don't think he's a great director of football.
I want Paratici back.
Yeah, so do I. Big time.
David, personally, I want Paratici back. I don't care if he's a criminal. I want him back.
But you know what? Even on that, I think people have to understand. He was asked to do it. He didn't just come up with it out of nowhere. He was asked to do it, and he liked his job that much and wanted to keep it. He done what he asked him to do. At the end of the day,
I couldn't give a toss what he did at Juventus. He impressed me as soon as he came to Tottenham. He done the things that he said he was going to do. He was going to get rid of the shit out of the team. He done it. He put players in that we needed. And now we put Langer. He's as much use as a chocolate fire guard, mate. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, look,
as I
I
said,
do. Go on.
for me now, tomorrow maybe I'm deluded. I'm going for a Tottenham win tomorrow. I'm deluded. Maybe I've had too much drink on my birthday. Maybe But hey ho.
No, look, let's wait and see what happens, Chris. At the end of the day, it's your birthday. You're in good spirits. Cup semi-final tomorrow. I mean, what a late birthday present that would be if we could deliver a trip to the final. Look, I hope you go and enjoy
Yeah,
the rest of your evening, my man. Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
I
And happy
will.
birthday to you, buddy.
Thank you. And
It's good
everybody,
seeing
thank
you
you for your
back.
birthday message as well. I really appreciate it. And it's not, David, I'll tell you what, the last few weeks, I have to say, it's good to be back.
It's great to have you back, my man. We've missed you over here. We really have missed your
Yeah,
contribution.
I'll tell you what, I'm a lot stronger. I'm a lot stronger now than I have been before. So I'm getting my bullets back. So we better win tomorrow, or Monday might be a bit extreme.
Well, look, hopefully it's extreme on the other end. Extreme happiness, Chris. All right.
Well, I tell you, with me, you never can tell.
No, you can look when things are going right. You've always got that cheeky grin. I know when you're happy, my man. I know when you're happy. You going off. You go off and enjoy. Go on.
Well, David, we won against Brentford. What more do I need not to be happy about? We actually won a bloody game. I can actually see the green dot instead of the red dot every time.
Yeah, and that's all we want. That's all we want. We just want to try and win games, consistently. And when you're losing consistently, it becomes very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
It gets you down. Whether you like it or not, it does drag you down. When you're winning, life's good. Life's good. Yeah. But Chris, go and enjoy the rest of that birthday and get your takeaway in, my man.
I will do. David, that's already on order, mate. That's already on order.
Good. What'd you get?
Anyway, I've got kebab coming. A good, nice, fat, greasy kebab. Lots of grease.
You're making me hungry. You're making me hungry.
Have a good one, David. And everybody smash a like and get super chats in and give David a big up for doing the show solo.
I appreciate it, Chris. You have a good evening. Enjoy that filthy kebab, my man. Do you know what? It's absolutely great to have Chris back. I'm very fond of Chris. I think he's got a lot of good things to say, and it really is good to see him back. And happy birthday. Enjoy that kebab. You are certainly making me hungry, my man. Certainly big up K32. James as well. Great to see you. King Holland saying it should be 2-0. Unlucky. Newcastle giving them a good go at their place. So looking to put a bit of gloss on the scoreline. But look, let's keep it moving. I am going to take the link down in the next 2 minutes. So if you do want to come on, click that link, make it known that you do want to come on. If not, I will be taking it down and we'll see you again on Monday for the fan show. But let's keep it moving. We've got 3 guests left. We've got Michael, Adrian, and Donovan. And we're going to start with Michael. Let's bring him on. Let's see what he has to say. You ready there, Mick? I don't know if you're sitting there talking to somebody. Yeah, you're ready. Let's bring him on. Big Mick.
Yeah, I was just coughing to the side. I didn't want to cough in the microphone in case you brought me in.
I appreciate it. I didn't know whether you were being called away last second or not. And I double checked.
No. The door is that way, not that way.
Fair enough. Well, Michael, it's good to see you. Good to see a smile on your face. I presume that's with 2 wins on the bounce. Of course, we're not going to get too carried away. What do you make of the transfer window? There's a lot of conflicting opinions around it, a lot of different thoughts flying around. You've got one group that says, well, not good enough. You've got another group that says, hang on, it's a decent window in terms of what you can do in January. Where do you sit in it?
Oh, sorry.
Is it? Come on.
2-0.
Who scored?
Gordon.
Nice.
Big up Newcastle.
Should give us extra incentive tomorrow to try and get something out of that game. But look, let's start on the transfer window, Michael. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm kind of like a bit of a mixed feeling with it, right? Because I actually think that the business that we have done is not bad, right? It could have been better. Of course, like it always can be better, right? You can always make a case for a better transfer window, right? But I think that getting in a goalkeeper was important because, like, I'd rather have a young developing goalkeeper than Fraser Forster, with all due respect to his career and all that stuff, right? I'd rather, so I think Kinski business has been good. Then Danso, I actually have watched this guy a bit, especially because Austria was in our group in recent Euros, right, with Poland. So I watched him against us. I watched him against France and against Netherlands when they played. And I think he performed on the big stage quite well, right? And the whole Austrian team performed quite well, to be fair. And with
So did
Tel,
Ravi
right?
Dragic for Romania, though.
Of course, that's fair enough, right? That's a national, international tournament, right? So we always have to take it with a grain of salt, right? But the reason why I'm mentioning this is, like, of course, I haven't watched RC Lons, right? So I haven't watched him in club
You never
football.
know
I'm just saying that.
Michael. You watch a lot of football. You never know.
No, I usually watch Premier League and Bundesliga because that's what my provider, gives me, right? I have Bundesliga and Premier League, and of course I watch like the Polish league from time to time. But yeah, like I haven't watched him on club level, but on the international level, he was performing really well, right? I think it's a good addition to the squad. And with Tel, I know the whole saga was a shit show, right? But I am happy that we actually have an attacker in, right? I really like the fact because like our attack has also been riddled with injuries, and we honestly just need a body, and this is a better body than Werner on loan or than Juma on loan, right?
Fair point, actually.
I think even though he doesn't have much experience still, right? But I think the excitement and the talent is there, right? Whereas when you bring in Werner on loan, you know what you get, which is nothing, right?
Yeah.
So overall, when I look at the names that we brought in, I am quite happy, right? The issue I have with it is the timing, right? Because it's not only for me about the fact that it's been so late, which is a usual thing for Spurs, right? But I also think it's about how much struggle the squad had in that January, right? I think if you got in like Danso, earlier and actually allowed him to settle in, we first of all could have used mixed shit show. First of all, we could have used him against the likes of Leicester and Everton, right? That's the first thing. And second thing, I wouldn't be like scared to use him against Liverpool because like it's a new signing, right? It will be probably one of the toughest games he ever plays for us, right? It will be his first game if he gets to start, right? So
is it not a concern that he hasn't played in almost 4 weeks, though, Michael?
Yeah, it is, right? That's why I said if we brought him in at the beginning of the season, sorry, not season, the transfer, he could, even get used to our training methods and our system and all that stuff, right? We could actually make use of him, right? And Tel, like, fair enough, there were a lot of shooters, so whatever, right? But I have an issue with the timing, right? But overall, I don't rate the window highly, but I also don't want to shit on it, right? Because in the end, I think that the names that we brought in will help the club in the grand scheme of things, right? So I'm kind of like, on the fence again, right?
Middle of the road. Yeah. No, I can
consider Michael,
No, I can understand it. And look, did you watch the Johan Lang interview? Did you?
No, I actually haven't. I started it, but then something took my mind off it, and I didn't go back to it. But I will have to watch it. But I suspect the usual, right? I think it will be a bit of PR, and all that stuff, because they never can tell really what was going on, right? It's never really what was behind the scenes. It's usually just some prepared
answers,
answers and statements, right? So. Yeah, I will watch it out of curiosity, but I've heard the snippet about like the window being tougher than usual because of the European competitions, right? Yeah, because that's the main thing, probably. That's the main talking
point. The rest
point,
of it's
right,
a lot of baloney. You don't need to watch it.
Yeah, so thanks. You saved me like 15 minutes, right, of my life. But yeah, with that snippet, I kind of agree. Like, I agree with the fact that it probably was tougher to get certain players out of their clubs because of the European competition, right? Like many clubs still had a lot to play for in the European competitions, so they needed to save those like key players. The issue I have with it, right, is the fact that like Danso wasn't playing for Arcelons, right? So what was stopping us from purchasing him was the money, right? And we know that it was because we got the info that they wanted 30 million at the beginning of the window. We got him for 25 now, right? So yeah, so this is the issue I have, right?
Yeah, but this is where people go mad. Sorry, just quickly, for the sake of 5 million, like, surely coming into January, you had to shake hands that you were, the market wasn't in your favor. It's simple supply and demand. We've got demand, they've got the supply. They name the selling price, and to drag it on so long to save 5 million, it drives me mad.
Yeah, like this is just the story of our transfer windows, right? Usually when we can save the money, they will do everything to save the money, right? And they don't care. Sorry. And they will do everything to save that money, right? And we know how this club works, right? This is, we are used to it. So yeah, it's unfortunate. As I said, not only we could have used him in the games that we had in January, but also I think like the penny pinching and the 5 million, like what, like, we were in dire situation, right? We needed a center back, right? Even to let like Dragusin or Gray rest a bit, right? Because both of them, I think I don't know if I raised this point with you and Jack or one of the other shows, right? But they actually, like, both of them played around 20 something games in a row, right? So even they were getting like, strained, and we can see that Dragusin just got injured, right? And I don't think Gray is far from it, right? I think he's a young lad that has a lot of energy in him, but even his body can give up at a certain point, right? So I think even purely for the fact of just using him to rest Dragusin, to give Dragusin and Gray a bit of a breathing room, right? But yeah, but again, I understand the argument, right? I understand that I think it had an impact, right? The European competitions, but not with the player, especially not with Danso that we put in, right? And I also,
but you know what?
And Bayern weren't using Tell, right? And Bayern weren't using Tell, right? So it's like, I think we could have done this area if we wanted to, right? But it would require, paying more. So
I don't buy the European explanation. They brought Kinski, who still had European games to play. You know what I mean? You pay the money, you get your player. It's that simple. But look, let's move on from the transfer window. First of all, All-Stroke. Good to see you, All-Stroke. Great name. Says, cheers, Dave. Watched last word on Spurs. Now watching your channel to get me through work today. Let's hope the boys get us a result tomorrow. I'll be over the moon. First of all, look, don't get yourself in trouble. No one wants to lose their jobs. They're hard to come by and hard to keep. So, don't risk that, my man, just to listen to me. But I really do appreciate it. Second of all, what do you work at? Let me know. And third of all, I really appreciate it. Look, give me a chance as well is what I would ask over here. This is a fan show tonight. I'll do many different things. I'll do predicted lineups. I do, pre-match build-ups, watch-alongs, debate shows, and stuff like that. There's much different content. So don't just judge me on tonight. Give me a fair crack, All-Stroke. So big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the support. But Michael, let's move on and talk about this big game tomorrow. Everyone's excited, everyone's pumped. It almost feels like it's Christmas Eve to a certain degree. You just want to get to bed early so you can wake up early, and do all the right things tomorrow. I think it's a day tomorrow where everyone's going to double think what they're doing so they don't try and jinx Tottenham to a certain degree. I mean, how excited are you? Because let's be brutally honest, it's been a tough league campaign. It's been a tough season, but we've managed to save it by the cup competitions, and we're here one game away from a final. How do you think we'll get on tomorrow?
Listen, this will be like probably one of the toughest games in this club's history, right? Maybe not. Maybe that was a bit over the top, right? But I think like Liverpool. Listen, let's not kid ourselves. They are in a bit of a different league than us, right?
Of course,
they have lost they have lost one game all season, right? In the league, I mean, right? They have lost one game against us in the cup, which was 1-0, and they have lost one game against PSV when they completely rotated the game because they were on top of the Champions League league. So yeah, it's going to be tough as hell, right? I don't have much expectations with the game, I'm going to be honest, right? But this is the magic of football, in my opinion, right? I support teams not to get down over it and just be pessimistic and all that stuff, right? Even though I don't necessarily if you asked me to give you a heart and a mind opinion, right? In my mind, I don't think we stand much of a chance, right? Or pretty much, I don't want to say no chance, right? Because like mad things happen, right? Let's just say that Van Dijk has a brain fart and tackles one of our players and gets sent off in the 5th minute, right? Then, then we have a much bigger chance than we had at the beginning of the game, right? Mad stuff can happen, right? It probably won't, but it can, right? So I'm not saying that we have 0% chance to go through, right? But that's my mind like answer, right? But my heart answer is like I support Spurs and different teams, like my Polish team and my Speedway team and other teams, right? I support them to to have that sense of camaraderie, to believe that they can achieve something, right? And I'm going to look at the game tomorrow and just believe, right? And if we don't win, if we don't go through, right, the tie, so be it, right? Deep inside me, I kind of am like, I accepted the fact that we probably won't, right? But on the off chance that we do get through that tie, right, it's going to be mad, right? I'm going to be so stoked, right? I'm going to be so happy, right? Because let's look at the path that we had to take to up until this point, right? We eliminated Manchester City, we eliminated Manchester United, right? Now we have an advantage against Liverpool, right? So if we somehow knock them out, right? If we somehow knock them out, look at the path, right? It's one of the like best feelings, because you cannot even make an argument that we shithoused our way to a final, right? Because like I think under Jose, right, we played Brentford in the semi-final. I think the only tough team that we beat was Chelsea, right, on penalties, and I think we had an easier tie before Chelsea, right? So you could make a case that, they had Brentford in the semi-final, right? This is no excuses, right? This is no like counter arguments. We've beaten two of the like not the best teams, right? Because City and United are at their best, right? But we've beaten two like historic teams, right? And we have a chance of beating a third one. Not a big chance, but have a chance, right? So I will be like 100% behind the team. I will be watching the game on the edge of my seat and all that stuff, right? So yeah, I'm extremely happy to be in this place even, right?
Yeah. No, look, I'm buzzing that we're here. This is what we're in football for, these big occasions, these big nights. It's what we want to be here for. And look, last question I have for you, Michael, is the new signings, Danzo and Matthias Tell. I mean, would you start them tomorrow?
I've been like pondering on that question, right? Because even on different shows we've been discussing with other guys this like scenario, right? Whether to start Danso or not. And I think Danso will start. I'm not necessarily like 100% behind that decision, right? Because it's a risky one. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a huge risk, right? But unfortunately, like Dragusin is injured, right? And we have a left-footed center back in Ben Davies. So I think the choice now is between Danso and Gray. Gray, who has played like 25 games in a row for us, and the Danso, new, fresh, actual center back, right? So even though it's a huge risk, I would still take it, right? Like I am like, I'm not behind this decision, but I think this is what will happen, and I'm not necessarily against it. Like again, fence sitting on it, right? I am not necessarily like to either side. And with Tell, I think it's an easier answer, right? Because attackers generally have it like lighter, right? We always say that attacker can make 10 mistakes, score a goal, and have an impact on the game. Defender makes one mistake, right, and it leads to a goal, and then they are up the shit's creek, right? So yeah, I think I'm not sure if Tell starts. I think he will, right? And I wouldn't be against it, right? If he starts, fair play. I would like to see Kulusevski in the midfield. I think he's a better midfielder than a winger, right? Madison is out, so there is no debate on the camp position, right? So I think basically what I mean is I think Kinski will start in goal. I think from the right side it will be Poro, Danso, Davies, and Spence if he can play, right? Because like there were a bit of like rumors about him not being okay or whatever, right? I think the midfield, he will go with experience. I think it will be Bissouma, Bentancur, and Kulusevski. And I think the attack will be Tell, Richarlison, and Son, right? So yeah, is this a team that can win? Is this a team that can win at Anfield? Probably no, right? But as I said, the team will have my full backing, right? I will be 100% behind them. And again, if they don't win, if they actually lose the tie overall, fair enough, right? But you are going to play against one, if not the best team in the world right now, at their ground, right? So fair enough if you lose. I will be okay with it, right? I will be gutted, of course, right? I want to see us in the final, but yeah, fair enough, right? And by the way, because I have to say it, right? I am so happy that Newcastle are winning, right? Because I know some people wanted a North London derby in the Carabao Cup final, right? But considering we haven't won against them in 6 meetings, I'm not so sure about this, right? I know that, like, if we won that final against them, right, the bragging rights off the charts, right? But I wouldn't fancy us against Arsenal. Whereas I think with Newcastle, listen, they are super hungry for that trophy, right? Newcastle haven't won anything for a long, long time. But I think there is stylistically, I think we can match them a bit better than Arsenal, right? I know they've beaten us twice this season, right? But both games were kind of close. So I would rather take that than what happened against Arsenal, right? Because I think at our own ground, they really just, parked the bus. We couldn't break them down. They scored from a set piece. And at their ground, I think it was 2-1, but it should have been more, probably, right, in that North London derby. So, yeah, I would rather play Newcastle, right, if we get through to the final.
I just think playing Newcastle gives us more of a chance. It's not
exactly,
or a guarantee, but I think it'll give me a lot more confidence heading into the final if we got there, playing Newcastle than Arsenal for sure. I definitely agree with that. Well, Michael, big up, my man. Really appreciate your time this evening. And look, we'll speak to you again very, very soon. Big game tomorrow. Yeah. Hopefully we come out the right side of it, lad.
Yeah, hopefully. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you
fucking Spurs.
Let's fucking go, Michael. Let's have it.
Go, mate. Bye-bye, Dave. Cheers.
Bye-bye, Michael. Bye-bye. Everyone, big up Michael. Do you know what? I really enjoy talking to Michael, actually. I think he's got a lot of good things to say. I think he gets his points out very, very well. And, you always know where Michael stands. There's never any in between with Michael. I actually really like Michael. So big up. We've got 2 more guests for the evening, and then we will be calling it that. Just got a couple of comments to get to just quickly. Lily White India says, if we do go 1 goal up, Dave, would you rather have us defend the lead or try and play our game? I think if you go 1-0 up, you've got 2 goals. I think you've got to just batten down the hatchets. I think you've got to go all out defense and defend it. I think you continue to play that game. Look, both games are risk, right? You sit back, they could nick something. I think, if you go forward. But I think if we're going forward and we're leaving gaps for Liverpool to play in, I think it's a lot more easier for them to claw their way back into the game rather than if we were to sit in a little bit more and look to play them on the counter. So if we do get an early goal straight away, get back, sit in, look to defend it. We've got K32 was watching an old program yesterday about Spurs in the 70s and the 80s. The fans were complaining about how club was becoming too commercial. This was time you paid at turnstiles. Absolutely madness. Absolutely madness. I mean, and look where we are today. I mean, it's gone beyond commercial, isn't it? It's absolutely madness. King Hoddle says, Tell starts for me. I see no point in parking him on the bench when he gives us a different dimension up front, and it might not be properly prepared for him either. Look, I think that's an absolute fair point. What I will say is Richie does love a game against Liverpool. He does tend to save his best performances against Liverpool. And is that an angle I would rather play with tomorrow? I think I'd rather start with him tomorrow. I think it's going to be a battle. On that basis, King Huddle, I actually start with Richarlison, let him do all the battling quality, the battling works, and then get Tell on when Liverpool's a bit more tired and see if he can get a bit more joy running the legs off them. And then All Stroke says, thankfully I work from home, so shows like these are perfect to have on in the background. And don't worry, Dave, your content is always in my rotation. Really enjoy the fan predictions. Well, I really appreciate that, All Stroke. Thank you very, very much. You're one of the lucky buggers who get to work from home. I mean, many people kill for that, where they don't have to go out. They can just work from home and get shit done and stuff like that. So you're living the dream is what you're telling me, All Smoke. And then All Stroke, and then there was Alpesh Patel where he's saying, it really frustrates him because he's paying the highest tickets in Europe, and I fully get it, my man. I fully get it. The product that we're being served up and the constant circus around Tottenham over the last 4 or 5 years and what you're being charged doesn't quite add up. For sure, Alpesh, definitely agree with that. And he also says in game management, whether we are winning or drawing, bring on Denzel to shore up a lead or draw, keep Gray and Davies at the back. I agree with you. For me, I think squad dynamics. I think Postecoglou drops Gray or Davies, brings in Danzo. I think you lose Gray or Davies and you play a serious game where you potentially lose them and have to try and get them back on track. And I think you got to go with players that got you here. I think you do. I think you've got to give them that opportunity. That's just my opinion on it. And then bring Danzo on later on in the game. But that's where I'm at with it. To be fair, Alpesh Patel, big yourself up, my man. But look, let's keep this moving. Let's bring on, 1 second, William Webb, good to see you. Agree, start Richie Son, right? We need experienced players to settle in the first 30 minutes. And that's where I'm at with it, William, actually. I'd rather go with guys, that has been here, knows the Premier League, knows the atmosphere they're about to walk into. And, have got us here. I think that they'll have more incentive to go out there and put it all on the line. I just fear with Danzo, hasn't played in almost 4 weeks. How fit, how sharp is he? Not quite so sure. Tell, huge talent, but does he have that hold-up play that we're going to need to be able to get out? That's where I question some of these new signings and where I think maybe they might be held back for the Liverpool game, but with a view coming off the bench in this game. But big up, William Webb. Good to see you. Look, let's keep it moving. The next guest we have on is the one and only Adrian Brown. Let's bring him on. Adrian, how are you, my man?
How are we doing? I've just brought out the recipe book, and I just brought the recipe book, How to Cook a Liver Bird, tomorrow. So I'm hoping the very positive vibes. We're going to get this done tomorrow, all right? So I'm getting hungry like Danzo. Danzo said he's hungry. I'm as hungry as Noel when he said that. So let's go and get these liver birds, put them in the oven, and put that ratchet on a high, and we can share it around the whole Tottenham team and we enjoy the moment. Not many people have liver birds these days, but let's see if we can prove it to them that we can do it this time. All right?
Adrian's on the barbecue tomorrow night.
I definitely will be, honestly. If I see them win, I'm definitely getting that recipe of the liver bird out so I could take it out of all the friends that I know. Anyway, so shall we talk about transfers first?
Yeah, look, first of all, before we get into it, how's life?
Oh, yeah, all good. Everything's looking positive. It's all great. I think that's what I want to see if I can bring this bit of positivity to many of our Tottenham fans. Okay, especially with I just want to make sure that we need to start getting really positive. We can produce as fans positive energy to our players, and I just wish people see that, and hopefully we can push this thing through. And I wish all the away fans going up to Liverpool has that sort of mentality, and we're going to go and push that onto the field, and we're going to have Liver Bird tomorrow.
Do you know what? In fairness, I think for the large majority, I think the away fans have actually been excellent this year, and I think a lot of people going up to that game will be pumped, will be excited. Why wouldn't you be? We've got 1-0 lead to hold on to. We're going there with something to hang on to. So I think you're right. If you are going, you should be well pumped for this. And to be fair, I'll give them credit. They're usually quite good, the away fans. But Adrian, let's start with the transfer window. I mean, where do you see it? I presume you're probably on the more positive end of the spectrum of the window.
Yeah, I mean, I was never really worried about the transfer. I was never worried about the because we know what Levy's like. He's a businessman. I remember coming on your show a couple of weeks ago. I'm saying that it will happen at the last the last week of the actual transfer window. He's a businessman. He will try and get a couple of millions down. That's the way Levy operates, unfortunately. I mean, my views. I do want to see Levy out because I feel like he concentrates too much on the Tottenham Stadium infrastructure rather than the actual club itself. So I get very disappointed when, but he's not going to sack himself, is he? And this is what people don't realise, so he's always going to be safe in that job unless, there's protests or we don't go to games or just affects his bank balance, basically. That's the only way we'll be able to get Levy out, unfortunately. I think somebody said because of the changing of the corporation of Limited or PLC, he's managed to secure his job quite decently. Just a shame that, he can't sack himself, really, because he definitely needs it. But anyway, but we all knew it was going to come at the end. But what shocking surprise near the end, though. I mean,
You happy with Tell and
Danzo.
Danzo? They get you
Yeah,
just
yeah, I think so. I mean, all right, that was a bit. I think that's a bit of a reactionary buy. They know we were not happy, so maybe it's a good thing. Looking at his stats, he's good. He's even better than well, on stats on paper, it's better than Degusion. So I mean, that's technically what we brought him in for, and to give EDV a bit of a rest. Because you know we need these players to get fit and healthy again. It does take a lot of toll in the defence area, so I'm glad that we have got some extra fresh legs in there, and I hope he does keep his promise to say he's hungry for this game,
Do you know what?
or all the games in future.
Do you know what on Danzo, Adrian? I actually think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I actually like the jib of him. I think he's a big, strong, strapping guy. And I actually really like the look of him. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I'm just not sure whether I want to take the risk and start him tomorrow. With him not playing for 3 to 4 weeks. But on that one, in terms of centre back, I can actually get with to a certain degree because I actually like him. I actually don't mind them, so I can get with that. I know some people may have said, look, Skriniar on the market, and I can understand the benefits of bringing in Skriniar with the experience that he's got, and he could help the likes of the youngsters and stuff, but Daniel Levy's never going to give a contract to someone of that age, especially with the wages they're looking for. So in terms of Danzo, I can sort of get with that one. Where do you stand on Teldon? Because this is where, I'm a little bit concerned. I wonder, are we just maybe making the same problems that we've made in other windows? Look, I get Tel has absolutely insane talent, right? And I know he's had impacts off the bench, but you also got to take into account he's playing with a lot better players when he's at Bayern Munich than what he will be at Tottenham. And at Tottenham, he will be required to step up with output the same as other players at Tottenham. I just wonder, have we gotten a bit too young in that position? And that's what scares me a little bit, Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, when I first heard the news about Tel coming over to Tottenham, and obviously then he refused it because of Levy or whatever, or I don't know the whole situation in the background, but you do feel like you want players to come to the club and they want to come and play. But reading through the background in the story leading up to Tel, it's quite interesting, and you sort of can believe that what he's been saying is quite true. When he's been first negotiated with Levy, and it was all on an edge, so to speak, and then he sort of dissed us and then went to talk to Manchester United and the other teams. I must probably thought with everybody else, do we need a guy that comes over and doesn't really want to play for us? But hearing through the news, I heard about Kane. He has had a chat with Kane. Kane said, obviously, it's the best facilities in the world, and we're all a good club. And if he can get the fans to support him, he'll do very well at the club.
That was nice to hear, actually.
It was, and it shows that Harry Kane has still got his Tottenham blood in him. You
do see his release clause. You see news on that today, surely.
Yeah. So, let's hope. I mean, he would have to take a back seat if he does come back, but I think Kane will always be part of this club anyway, in my opinion. That's the romance side of it. But listening to the other thing, again, it's the Ange effect. This is where I'm saying we've got a good manager. Yeah. Okay, you got to imagine we're 15th in the league table at the moment. Yeah, we're in the cups and everything else like that, but we're 15 or 14, aren't we? It's around that area. Not many players will want to come and join us at that position, and it must take an extraordinary person to come across to convince that person to say he's going to have an important lead in this team, and to give that person the confidence of being where he wants the team to go, and what he wants him to go. He knows he's going to get the game time, so it's good to see that. And you don't get many managers like that. I mean, look at all the managers we got at the moment. The last time I can see of a manager of that caliber was actually Sir Alex Ferguson, who had the players behind him. They would do anything for the manager. And you can see this with Ange. There's some humanity against him. There's no this fakeness. It's none of this. Oh, it's a job. There is some true passion behind that, and that's why I've always been an Ange in. And we need to give him this support. And like I said, if we don't succeed, but let's think again. Let's see how far we've got into these cups at the moment. All right, FA Cup's just about starting up for us, for Aston Villa, but we're in a semi-final, so we should give praise to at least that. And I'm not saying we're going. I want them liver birds tomorrow. Don't get me wrong now. So I'm hungry for that tomorrow.
I'm Postecoglou, I think, in years gone by, because you hear a lot, since Postecoglou's arrival, the effect that these phone calls are having. And I think in years gone by, when Tottenham were doing well under Pochettino, that was obviously a pull. Since then, Kane and Son have reached new heights. Who wouldn't want to come and play with them? When you've had Conte and Jose, it's sort of a no-brainer, you come to the football club if they're asking for you. But with Postecoglou, it hasn't been that easy. You don't have that Kane and Son effect that you once did have, in terms of the pull. You don't have that manager with that huge reputation, and everywhere he's been, he's won, trophies at the elite level as a Jose and a Conte. So, we don't have that pull anymore. And this is where Postecoglou is why he's having to get involved to convince these guys to come to the football club, maybe introduce himself, show what he's all about, what his plans is. And I don't think that should go understated. I think he's done an absolute brilliant job in that regard. Look, when Johan Lang and Daniel Levy are flying out to Matthäus Tel and they can't get the deal done, and it takes Postecoglou to ring him up and sort of convince him, in effect, make him do a U-turn, which is not an easy thing to do, by the way, because once it's come out that you've publicly rejected, and you see the narrative going around now that, Tel doesn't want to be here to a certain degree and stuff like that. And, I do question it to a certain degree. Is he using Tottenham as a shop window to get himself to a much bigger club? I think it remains to be seen. But Postecoglou has played a huge effect in a lot of these players signing on the dotted line. And I think he deserves a lot of praise because reality, it's not his job. That is Johan Lang's job. That is Scott Munn's job. That's Daniel Levy's job. That's their job. It's not Postecoglou. So I think he deserves immense respect and credit actually in that, because if he didn't make that phone call, would we have a forward in here? I'm not quite so sure we would. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. But look, you said you're hungry for Liverpool tomorrow. We're going to have it well seasoned. How do you think we're going to get on tomorrow, Adrian?
I think we can do really well. I mean, okay, a lot of people, the negativity is out there. It's only one go ahead, and we know that Liverpool can score a lot many in the nets. But still, it gives us a little bit of a breather. If we go out there in the first 20 minutes and show that we mean business to them, and hopefully, maybe, touch wood, we'll score a goal, and hopefully that will put more pressure on the Liverpool players, and we'll keep it a good tight formation for them. I mean, let's have a look. I mean, we're getting some of the injuries back now, aren't we? So
what's your lineup?
Sorry, the lineup.
Yeah, what would you be?
Well, I'd like to see Danso. I think if he's got that positive mindset, I don't think we should be scared about
or Ben Davies.
Well, I thought it's going to be who was replaced Juzin last time. It was Spence, wasn't it? I can't remember. When Deguzin got sent off, who did he replace it with?
Against Carabao. Jeez, that's a lot. Do you know what? It's actually not a long time ago, but considering amount of games,
yeah. It's short time, long time, but short time memory loss.
Yeah. Do you know what? I can't remember. There's more smarter people and honest people than me in the chat.
I'd say I'll put the three out. I think put Danso in first. If he's not doing as good that he should, as if Ange sees he's not doing as good. I mean, we've got to really lead this to Ange and what makes him decide. He's the manager at the end of the day, and he's going to be looking at Tel today. He's going to be looking at Danso today. He's going to see how literally they are hungry for it. So, we have to put the decision on him.
Went into centre back.
Yeah, I'm not really too keen on that, to be honest with you. But you want really more confirmed, strong centre backs at the back if we can possibly have. But Archie Gray's been having a great season in the centre back position, hasn't he? That's the hard one, because you really would like to see him to be moved up the field a little bit with Archie Gray, but he's done so well in the background to do it. What was the other one that we was looking? Have we done Ben?
Is another controversial one. Kingsley Carrio's back training now, back with the team.
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I'd like to see Kingsley. All right. He's played Liverpool the first time. He knows what the team is all about at the moment. Vicario would be placed in a team that I'm not saying he hasn't played Liverpool before. I'm sure he has. But, this is the team that's been building throughout the season. Kingsley's already played against them. He knows roughly in his mind now how these players react. So he knows this time to be extra aware of the incoming balls, I think. He'll be more alert, I think, than Vicario. Don't forget, Vicario is been out for the last month or 2 months now. He's been off for a few games now, since November, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's been out quite well now, yeah.
So, to be thrust in a very big game like this, in a way, if I was the manager, I'd say, look, this is unfair for you to come straight into a big game like that. I would definitely say, look, let Kingsley play on this one, and we'll see what we can do for Villa game for you. Because I think that would be the diplomatic way of doing it.
Well, look, fair enough. I think it's one where you don't really, anger Vicario as well to a certain degree. I fully agree with that. And the other one, Matthias Tell, do you drop him straight into the starting 11, or use him as an impact player?
I don't know. I've been thinking this all day, but the problem is, right, is I'm hoping they've done all the documents. It's all signed and dotted that he can play and everything. He's available. Yeah. So he is available. So you know what? I wouldn't mind taking a punt on it, to be honest with you.
Who drops
Even
out?
if it...
Mikey Moore?
I don't know. I would have to, just for the sheer more it's a hard one, isn't it? Again, it's always hard when you're under manager.
We can't decide here. Imagine what Postecoglou's going through.
Yeah, precisely. I mean, you can imagine that, we're all easy to come in and criticise. Oh, you could put this in, we could put that. Yeah. But to be actually the one to make that final decision and the pressure on him, you're going to have some mistakes here and there. But, I believe in him. I'm sure he'll put the right person or take the right person off of him. Is he a left winger, is he? If I remember right.
He can play all across the front line, really.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got multiple choices then, Ange, to take which one he wants to take off. He might probably been seeing them on the pitch today in training today, so he's going to have some sort of idea where he wants to sort of place him. I don't think he should be on the starting list. Maybe near the end. It might give Liverpool a bit of a shock because. If he comes in and he does come in fighting and the way that the press and he comes across as a very positive, career-driven, wants to be the best. He wants to be as good as Kane and all the other top football players. I suggest he's going to try and prove that to him, because if he's only going to be here for 4 months, say, if it's like, say they would go for him, because obviously we've got the option to buy now. But beforehand, it was just like an open shop window, wasn't it, for him? So people were saying, well, but he's got to prove himself because he wants to make the bigger mega-back deals if he wants to get in there. And I'm going to tell Levy now, I don't know if we are set to pay. What were you set to pay for him if it comes up to the end of the season?
£45 million.
So we have guaranteed 45 million at the end of that at the end of the season if we do want to.
He has, so it will be 45 million, but Tell, basically, this is all in Tell's hands. If he agrees to the move,
right,
then we're going to activate the clause they got in place. If he doesn't, then it doesn't mean nothing.
Right. Okay. Well, that's got to show. Tell's got to make sure that it's in his hands now. And he's gonna try and prove himself, because if it's all the other clubs are going to be looking at it, and it's going to be up to his decision. But I hope he does come. Well, we haven't seen him yet. I like to analyze a little bit. I've only seen analytic videos on YouTube here and there, which is quite impressive in the circumstances of what he's played so far. And when he does come on the pitch, he does sort of change the dynamics of the game. And we've got to remember that this is a bit of a whiz kid, but then he's always been played second fiddle under Kane. But then Kane's sort of giving him the great advice: come over here, build up your reputation, love the fans, and hopefully we can win him over as much as we did with Kane.
Could you imagine if he scored a goal tomorrow and sent us through to the final? The scenes, lad.
Oh man, if he come and done his debut goal tomorrow, I mean, he could be heading his way to the new Kane, wouldn't he? Really, coming in there, knowing that he's, he would have Kane dust all over him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Playing with Kane, he's seen Kane how he plays, and most probably, that's what I like. Footballers learn from other footballers, don't they?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so
spot on. Well, Adrian, I really appreciate your time, my man. Thank you very much for keeping me company in the conversation. Really like the T-shirt, by the way. Where'd you get it?
Well, this T-shirt, I was a bit of a few years old, but I got it from the old Tottenham. It's the Tottenham store that I got it from. So yeah. It was one of the days. It was the early days of Son. So just quickly on Son. He seems like he's coming back into form again now. Yeah. It's a slow starter, but we've got to give him that the benefit of the doubt, because he's getting on a little bit.
Look, you know what? The last couple of games, I think he's been absolutely brilliant. Elfsborg, he destroyed them. I think first half against Leicester before we moved them up front, I thought he was brilliant. Brilliant there again the other day against Brentford. And do you know what? I think he has the ability to write his own legacy tomorrow night. If he can,
I think so.
Be that guy to sort of drag us through, post Kane era, and he's done it on his own. I think he sort of maybe starts rewriting it, writing a nice end to his Tottenham story. So let's wait and see what happens. But Adrian, we appreciate it this evening, my man. Make sure you get off work early, home in time for that game tomorrow.
Oh, I'm gonna go out now. I'm gonna set that barbecue out at the back, great big one for them liver birds, and I'm gonna put some nice. Do you know what kind of gravy do we have to put with the liver birds at all?
Do you know what? Do you know what they serve in the fancy hotels? It's called like a red wine jus. It's a bit it's a fancy gravy basically, and it goes with game and stuff like that. So I think that's what we'll have with that, Adrian.
All right, I'll go prepare that sauce now then. All right,
love it. Well, Adrian, I'll see you tomorrow. Come on,
will
do. Spurs.
Come on, Spurs. Come on. Come on, you Spurs.
Big up, Adrian. Come on.
Yes.
See you tomorrow, my man.
See you later. Take it all. Legend. All the best. Now. Big up.
Legend. Everybody. How good was that? Adrian, I absolutely love the guy. We need to get him on a longer format show where we can hear more of his opinions, because I think he's got a lot of good things to say. And you know what? It doesn't come on and sort of just say things with the general mood stance by what he has to say. And I absolutely admire that, and I love that. Very, very good conversation. And he's a good character as well. Sitting there, big smile on his face. I mean, how can you not be happy, right? And what an intro, by the way, with the knife and fork and the little apron or the cushion that was there, dinner. It's dinner time. Absolutely love that. Fair play to him. A bit of humor as well. I like that. But guys, we are coming to that time in the evening. It is the last guest of the evening. You all know him. It's Donovan. Let's bring him on. Let's hear what he has to say. Good evening, Donovan. How are you?
Hey, big up, Adrian. Big up you. That was awesome. That got me pumped right up, man. I needed that going into this.
No. Look, it's a big game. By the way, just quickly, how are you feeling? You recovering from the flu?
Well, that kicked my ass, lad. I'm not gonna lie. I had a bit of a bender there on the New Year's with my friends and stuff, and I don't really party much or anything. And like
that will do it.
That did it. Holy shit, that knocked me on my ass. But no, I'm feeling a lot better now. Back to the gym. I went the last 3 days and back at it, and no excuses, man. Heading into the business end of the season, man. You gotta show your best form, right? So
no, good, absolutely brilliant to hear. Well, look, let's start with the transfer window, Donovan. Let's get your brief thoughts on that before we get into this big game tomorrow.
Yeah, so before I kind of address that, the way the season has went, it's kind of forced you to look at the situation with a more of a balanced view. right? It kind of forces the happy clappers to like kind of sit back and like actually, look at the house that's on fire and realize that like whatever topics you look at, you kind of have to look out of the balanced view, because you can't be positive being in 16th we're at one point, right?
Yeah.
So whatever topic kind of comes up, you have to look at it with some sense of realism. And honestly, the guy worries me, because not because I don't think he's gonna do good.
You know what, Donovan? That surprised me. I thought you'd be all over this one.
See, I am, because I think the lad is going to smash it. And what I'm worried
Yeah.
about is that the lad is going to smash it. And then we're going to be stuck at the end of the season, and he's going to get offers from, like the cities,
Yeah.
the Arsenals, and then he's just going to, like, thank you very much. Because I was going to ask you, and you kind of nailed it on the head there. Like, I guess it is in his hands. I guess we do have a buy option, but it is if he agrees on it or not, right? So I'm hoping that the Lily White fans can really swoon him, and he can realize that this is a big club. Like, we are on the up, we are a sleeping giant. Maybe he is the piece that we're missing. Maybe that's how we feed into it. Maybe that's how we sell it to him. It used to be Kane's Tottenham, now it can be Tell's Tottenham. Like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Plus Udebert's there, right? So, but the main thing is a lot has to perform on the pitch. So, Tell, we'll see what happens. We'll see. Oh, there could have been a pun.
What is it you like about Tell, Donovan?
Well, I like the fact that he's a youngster. He can be molded into the future. He's dynamic. He's tall. He's almost like an Alexander Isak, where he has that technical ability where he can play out wide and he can really take wingers on. But then he's got that physical frame that when he does get in the box, he doesn't just bounce off players, right? The ball sticks to him. And everybody saw what Alexander Isak was doing in La Liga, but nobody really wanted to take a punk on him because he was quite small in stature. Like his frame, he didn't kind of fill out his frame yet. But everybody who knew the game knew that like he had it and his ability in him. And Newcastle were the bravest ones, and now they're reaping the benefits for it. And now every top 10 flight team in Europe wants Alexander Isak, right? So I see a lot of that in him. So yeah, I think Tell will be good. And honestly, you can't get much worse than, I don't want to slate anybody, but you can't get much worse than the options we have right now, right? So yeah.
No, do you know what? I think you make an absolute fair point. Maybe it's one of them risks that might pay off, one of them risks that no other team really wanted to do. I think, that's a pretty good way of looking at it, actually. And I think, look, I think many people know my opinion. I think it is a huge risk. I think there's a massive difference between someone that shows massive potential and someone that's at the stage where they can do it week in, week out. However, it's not to say I haven't seen 19-year-olds do this before. You know what I mean? So let's wait and see what Tell does. What do you make of the Kevin Danso signing as well, Donovan? What's your thoughts on that one? Because a lot of split opinions on it.
No, that's the signing that really excites me. The Mbappe destroyer. What has he had some crazy record against Mbappe in the league?
Broke his nose, didn't he?
Yeah, he's quite the lad. I think he's one of those players, like Tottenham players, where his ability to raise their game depending on the opposition. Like he takes the effort, the quote of "you only good as who you play against" to a new level. And I think he's one of those players that are able to take in the game, read the game, and then match that level, whatever level it be. And then being in a better environment, he'll benefit a product of being a better environment, and having Tottenham as that environment. He even acknowledged that. He doesn't even look at the game where it's like, oh, money this, money that. Maybe Wolverhampton might be more secure to what Tottenham are right now in this part of the season. But you can't ignore the training facilities. You can't ignore our history. You can't ignore the fact that we are the most passionate fan base in London. Like there's certain levels to the game. And so he sees that and he's like, I want to be a part of that. And I don't know if an Ange Postecoglou conversation happened, but the fact that the lad can actually take a look at that in the position we're in, and those are the players we want ultimately. If they have that hunger, they have that desire, and they have the ability. The guy has the ability. He matches Mbappe pace for pace, man. The guy's unreal. Like when it comes to playing that high line. So now maybe we might see a future where it's a Van de Ven Danzel partnership, and that'd be crazy. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but those are the characters that Ange has alluded to that he wants in the squad. Players that aren't there for their own personal selfishness, players that aren't there to put their egos first, players that are there in a team first mentality, who have that hunger, have that fight. And he seems to check all the boxes. So
do you know what? I think you make a very good point there. I think when you look at a lot of the players that we have signed, a lot of them have had that sort of hard route, and even the youngsters, they've been thrown into such a hard environment and a sink or swim environment. And I think ultimately, I think it will benefit a lot of them in the long run, where you will start seeing that camaraderie, that fight for each other. When we do get to these sort of occasions, I think because they've had such a long route there and never thought it was going to be possible, I think they're more inclined to suffer a bit more in these sort of occasions to try and get you over the line. So I definitely agree with that. But look, let's head into the big game tomorrow, Donovan. You excited? You pumped for it?
Oh, what do you say? Like, you can be nervous, you can be nervous, you can be worried, but you can't have doubt. Is that what it is? Like, you can be nervous, but you can't have
You're
doubt.
asking the wrong man on that saying, Donovan.
Yeah. No, it's no, you embrace the nerves, because the nerves are part of the game. Nerves are part of the sport. You're always gonna have some level of nerves in the game, because nervous means like you're having to respond to your nervous system, right? Your adrenaline's pumped, you're ready for the occasion. So yeah, holy shit, I'm acting like I'm gonna lace up my boots and go to Anfield tomorrow. No, the reality of the situation is we haven't been in this situation for a long time, and of course it has to be Liverpool. The fuckers that knocked us out of the Europa Championship final there, that was many years ago. And I had this tattoo idea way back in the day where it was like the cockerel using like the fork of like United to like stab the liverbird there, and it was a play on our thing, but instead of the little circle there, it was like a liverbird, right? And we were just on top of them. So, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. We put ourselves in a great position. Everybody knows Liverpool. Everybody knows what happened against Barcelona. Young Trent Alexander whipping that early cross in. Everybody knows the magic of Anfield and what the cop end can do. We've been in winning positions in the 88th minute before with their best Harry Kane team, and somehow we've figured out ways to blow it. And I remember Moussa Sissoko running through 2-1-1 with Virgil van Dijk and blazing it over the bar. Like they're horrible memories. But I will caveat this is that Postecoglou here has bottled lightning. He has found a way to bring out special moments in these special players, and this is a special occasion. And these are the games where the players are paying their contracts. The players think about the games they've played when they're young. People have brought them to this level, the sacrifices they made at this level, people in their life that have brought them to this level. And Ange Postecoglou is going to be telling them that in the dressing room, right? It's like, whatever happens today, lads, go out there and just make your family proud, make your club proud, make these starving Tottenham fans proud. And if anybody can rally these troops, I know it's going to be Ange Postecoglou. So it's going to be a special day, special teams, special players. What's up, brother? We're going to go in there and we're going to give it our best shot, man. That's all we can do.
No, absolutely spot on. I couldn't agree more with that. And I think you're dead right. I think, Postecoglou, you've seen that famous speech with Australia. And I wonder, will he go down a similar route tomorrow or potentially hold it back for the final? Let's wait and see. But are you with us tomorrow, Donovan, on the pre-match build-up?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm there. I don't work until the evening. I'm a bartender, so I'll be there.
Right, so I don't really want to go into team news or team questions with you then, because we'll answer that tomorrow. So is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to speak about?
Well, yeah, okay, then I'll save some of that stuff for tomorrow then too. I just wanted to touch on Richie and Son, but I mean we can just save that for tomorrow.
No, go on, touch on them if you want,
So yeah, like I have to get on a horn with one of my best mates here in North America. He's a big Everton supporter. The guy's Mike Tarkowski, a Canadian Mike Tarkowski. The guy's a unit, bro. He's awesome. He's a good guy. His name is Bradley. He rips on me all the time about Everton, and I have to get on the phone with him and let's get Richie's Everton form going for this final semifinal, man, because Richie embodies like classic hard football that almost doesn't exist anymore. The rivalries, he embraces that. He embraces the hate of the crowd. He embraces like the passion. He loves going online and stirring up the social media and dropping and posts and he's just like checking in every so often behind the curtain, breaking that fourth wall of like fan and player. He loves the limelight. He's the kind of player that we're gonna look to tomorrow. How many times has he stolen points for Everton away at the Kop, vice versa, back at Merseyside there. So the fact that he has the experience to do that with Everton, and the fact he does have his best games against us, against our big rivals, and against Liverpool. I remember that game where Lucas Moura, we equalized in the 88th minute, and Lucas Moura passed it back, and then Jota went through, right? Like that header was the reason why we were in that position in the first place, an impact sub off the bench. So I'm expecting top form Richie tomorrow. Like you said, Son saving those moments. I'm wondering if Son almost for like the beginning part of the season was like managing his workload in the aspect, like mentally, he was like, okay, I'm 32 now, I'm 33. Like, if I want to play 2 or 3 more seasons at this level at Tottenham, I have to, like, hold it back for like 40 minutes a game, 50 minutes a game, and I have to save my minutes. But then he played himself into this horrible form where it's like, you know what? I might not even have a chance to play for Tottenham again if I keep playing like this. And so now I don't think he's got that long-term vision anymore. I think he's playing it like every single game is his last now. And I think he's playing it where it's like whatever happens with Tottenham happens. And I'm just going to leave it all on the field because then I can say I did that. And he's rolling back the years, man. Like the way he's taking players on and beating players on the byline and stuff. I haven't seen Sonny do that since that Champions League run when he had broke his hand and he had that cast on, and he was doing that to the best Dortmund team we've seen in years. The guy's taking control of his body for the last 5-10 years. He's an ultimate professional, and I really, really put our money and our house on him tomorrow, man. We have to, man. Like him, Madison. I'm trying to think who else here. We don't really have a lot, man. Archie Gray playing years and years ahead of his ability. Now we'll talk more tomorrow about the individual players, but just those two I want to touch on, Son and Richie, man. It's gonna be a big day tomorrow. It's gonna be a big day. We're 22 hours away from it. I'm so excited, and the scenes. If we get that early goal, it's gonna be mayhem, man.
Do you know what? If we get that early goal, I'm going to start thinking about the final. I kind of don't want to start thinking about it until, the job is done. But you know what? I think I agree with you on terms of what you had to say for Son. And I think, do you know what? I think tomorrow could be, sort of defining for Son at Tottenham Hotspur. You go back to that Champions League run. He did carry us most of that through the knockout rounds. He has the ability, and you're just hoping that, he can step up again and do it again tomorrow. And you know what? I don't think it's beyond the realms of impossibility. I know the last time Conor Bradley gave him a bit of a tough game, but Son was off it. I think now that Son's back at it, rejuvenated, I think, Conor Bradley's in for a much different game this time around.
So yeah, I obviously we can talk about the team tomorrow and everything, but so I'm just almost wondering, Trent Alexander-Arnold's suspect, right? So they have these youngsters that are coming in and proving themselves. So it's like we saw that Arsenal youngster come out of nowhere and absolutely pocket whoever was on that wing there. Was it Kulu? I think it was Kulu, right? So we don't know what team Liverpool are going to play. We don't know how heavy they're going to go. I presume the likes of Salah and Van Dijk and Alisson are going to play. I can see Gravenberch playing. All right, so it really depends who's on that right wing back position. If it's Trent, I'm more confident. Conor Bradley, will the occasion get to him? He is at home, but everybody has nerves, right? So we'll see what happens, man. I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a chess game.
Look, that it is, and it's a big game, biggest game of Tottenham season so far. And we know we keep saying that, but each time we keep progressing, it really does get bigger and bigger. Well, hopefully tomorrow will be the crescendo. Donovan, thank you very much for your time. Look forward to speaking to you tomorrow for the game, my man. And come on, you Spurs, let's go. Get an early night tonight, Donovan.
Cheers, lad. And I'll leave it at this, man. If we get through that final and we're in Wembley, man, that's going to be the uniting, man. That's going to bring the Ange haters out of the woods and join the party. We'll all eat at the cornucopia.
Yeah.
No, it's all good, bro. Yeah. So
no, for sure. No, I was just messing with the things down here because they keep changing on me on StreamYard for some reason. But no, look, let's go, Donovan. I'll speak to you tomorrow. Get an early night. Make sure you're ready to go, and we'll see you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Peace, lad. Take it easy.
Same to you, my man. Same to you. Oh, great calling from Donovan. As you can see, absolutely pumped, bringing the energy. And do you know what? Quite surprised on his take from Tell. I thought he'd be all over it. Sees it as a bit more of a risk. And you know what? Fair point from Donovan, actually. Big up, Donovan. Really enjoyed that conversation. So much so, we're going to hash out more of it tomorrow on the pre-match build-up. I think it's been a great addition to the pre-match build-up as well, by the way, guys. So big up, Donovan. Really appreciate your time. Stevie says, new intro needed, my friend. New players. 2002 season, Emerson was a legend. Look, we actually did have one updated and ready to go, sort of same format, but with newer footage and stuff. But for some reason, it got copyrighted. So, we're trying to find a way around it. But with all the games, thick and fast, it's sort of on the back burner for now. But we are well aware of it. Don't worry about that, Stevie. Big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate the support. Cole Cheeseman says, what do you guys think of Melia signing? Do you know what? I think Tottenham deserve a lot of credit for getting this one over the line. He had a lot of clubs interested in him. This guy actually turned down Man City in 2023. He was on there on trial, and the plan was to sign him up, send him out to their affiliate club in Belgium, and progress him that way. And he said he didn't want to do that. He'd feel more comfortable doing it back in the League of Ireland, so didn't sign. But Chelsea have had him at games recently. Celtic had him over there at games and, around the training complex. There's been interest from Bayer Leverkusen, Everton. So I think Tottenham done really well to actually get this signing over the line. He's very highly rated. And you know what? I had a guy on. If you didn't see it, go and check it out. It's on one of our pre-recorded videos. His name is Connor, Irish football expert. Absolutely brilliant with what he does. And he made a very interesting point. That. What other player around Europe at 17 has the experience that he does? He's got, 2 years now? He's been playing in the senior league since he's 15. He's got European experience behind him now and that as well. And, there's no one really at his age in the league, in leagues doing what he's doing. And that's why he comes with such a large reputation as well. But, from what I've seen of him, watching some games on the telly and, watching some highlight reels and stuff like that, I think maybe the big difference between him and Troy Parrott is that, with Troy Parrott, and maybe a part of the reason why he didn't get his chance at Tottenham or in the Premier League is because it's a lot more physical and he doesn't really have that hold-up play. He's back to goal, fend people off, which we know with Sonny and we've seen and I've highlighted, by selling Harry Kane, how important it is. Mason Melia has that in abundance, and not only that, he often likes to get turned on the ball and that as well. Will he come in and impact proceedings straight away? No. I think it's a huge ask. League of Ireland, Premier League, massive step up. I think it's one that he'll probably go out on loan for, for a couple of loan spells and see how he gets on from there. But you know what? Just as an Irish fan, I do like having Irish players coming through at Tottenham. I think it's exciting. Who doesn't? Especially what country you're from. You do like to see some players from your country representing your club. And look, Ireland, Irish players have always had a strong connection to Tottenham, and I'd like to keep that going. So hopefully Melia is that guy. But look, guys, that's it from me. Busy day. Still got more stuff to do. I'm going off to record and finish off my predicted lineup now and edit and that for you guys. So that'll be up tomorrow morning. And then also go and get the pre-match build-up questions finalised as well for tomorrow. So guys, have a good evening. We do know it will be Newcastle in the final if we get through. So the incentive's there. Let's see how we get on tomorrow. It's a big game. I'm nervous. It's like Christmas Eve because you don't know what you're going to wake up to. Well, let's bloody go. Come on, you Spurs. See you back here later on or tomorrow morning.